So get this, Prince Harry just flew to Angola, alone, again. No entourage, no press team, no Meghan. Just him, a dusty minefield, and enough awkward silence to make even NPR uncomfortable. And like, okay, landmines are bad. We can all agree on that. But dude, the real minefield is whatever's left of Harry's marriage. Cartman heard about it and immediately screamed, "I'm the real princess now," while wrapping himself in toilet paper, taping cucumbers to his chest, and forcing Kyle to push him around in a wheelbarrow labeled the royal womb. I was like, dude, what the hell are you doing? And Cartman goes, if Meghan won't support her ginger jester, I will. I've got the uterus and the moral high ground, Stan. That was 5 minutes into the day. Anyway, turns out Harry's doing another tour of his mom's old landmine charity. You know, the one where Diana walked through a field wearing a flak vest and basically shamed every politician in the world with a single photo op. Now Harry's doing the same thing, except instead of admiration, he's getting roasted on TikTok. And Meghan? She's ghosting harder than your dad's crypto wallet. Kyle looked up from his laptop and said, that's 4 solo trips in 2 years. Vegas, London, New York, Angola. Meghan's basically soft launching a divorce via absence. And I said, what even is a soft launch divorce? And Kyle goes, it's when someone slowly disappears until you forget they were ever married. Which is exactly what's happening. We looked up footage of Harry arriving in Angola, and he was just carrying his own suitcase, alone. No security, no staff, just him and his sad little wheels clicking over the airport tiles like a haunted carry-on. Meanwhile, Meghan's back in Montecito posting silent reels with captions like, sometimes your soulmate is a well-lit corner of Target. Dude, I've seen more support in a pair of expired Spanx. So Cartman did what Cartman does. He launched a live stream. Welcome to DivorceWatch247.com, he said, while sitting under a giant British flag made of jam packets and sarcasm. He even hired a fake narrator who sounded like David Attenborough on edibles. Here we observe the endangered redhead, stripped of title, purpose, and, most tragically, wife. Meanwhile, Randy got jealous of the attention and decided to launch his own NGO. But because it's Randy, it wasn't really about charity. It was about brand synergy. He called it Diana 3.0, humanitarian tequila. For every bottle sold, 0 minefields would be cleared, but you get a commemorative tiara with the slogan, drink like a princess. Butters tried to help. He opened a flower sprinkle lab in the school gym and started testing Meghan's as ever line for spiritual authenticity. He found one bottle that grew mold in the shape of Oprah's face. He started crying and whispered, she's watching me, Stan. The mold knows. By that point, the whole town was losing its mind. Then Meghan dropped a silent reel of herself, walking barefoot through a minimalist farmhouse, holding a bowl of lemons, with the caption, healing starts with citrus. Like, okay, what does that even mean? So Harry decides to hold a press conference in Angola, probably to prove he still exists. He's standing there all serious, talking about his mom, and then, boom. Kenny rolls up wearing a flak vest and holding a homemade Geiger counter like he's part of Mythbusters Royal Edition. He waves it around and yells something none of us understood, but the gist was, Harry's walking through a deactivated parking lot. There were no landmines, just props and optimism. Then Kenny held up a drone shot showing Harry walking in a circle for 30 minutes while the cameraman filmed from a grassy hill. That's when Cartman, dressed as Meghan, burst in screaming, Harry, I'm not your mother, I'm your brand. He tackled Harry and tried to shove a jar of flour sprinkles in his mouth, yelling, these are gluten-free trauma flakes. Suddenly, a Netflix crew jumped out from behind a bush shouting, cut! That's a wrap on SPARE, the rebrand. Dude, the whole thing was staged, and I was just sitting there going, if you've ever faked a marriage and a landmine walk in the same weekend, smash that like button before Cartman uploads the flour sprinkle sex tape. And it only got weirder from there. Butters accidentally poisoned a squirrel with Meghan's lavender lemon rosebud, fusion sprinkle number 004. The squirrel did a backflip and died in front of the PTA. Meghan's PR team blamed it on toxic car energy and colonial squirrel trauma. Meanwhile, Harry tried to eat lunch under a tree with a cardboard cutout of Princess Diana. He was whispering stuff like, "At least you never left me." Then Randy showed up in Angola, drunk, wearing a sash made of tequila labels, and accidentally got knighted by the Angolan president after mistaking him for the CEO of Casamigos. Back home, Meghan was still MIA. No tweets, no statements, no teary-eyed Oprah cameos. Just a leaked video of her loading a Louis Vuitton suitcase into an SUV labeled Exit Strategy. I sat on my couch and sighed. Maybe love really does mean showing up, or at least faking it convincingly on camera. But who am I to judge? My dad faked being a dolphin for a year and almost got married to a sea lion. Anyway, Cartman launched a second site, ismeganbackyet.com. It just plays hold music while a gif of Harry stares sadly out a rainy window. And it's sponsored by, as ever, now with even less Meghan. So yeah, smash that like button before Meghan files for divorce via podcast. But just when we thought it was all over, Harry shows up on Etsy, not a joke. He starts a store called Bracelets Not Bombs, selling handcrafted landmine awareness jewelry made of recycled palace napkin rings. His promo video is him whispering, "Let's detonate love, not countries." Then Meghan pops in on Zoom, looking annoyed, and goes, "Harry, the brand is about me, not mines." Kenny walks across the screen, steps on an actual landmine, and explodes. Nobody reacts. Cartman just pulls out a kazoo and starts humming "Stand By Your Man" while drinking from a Capri Sun full of boxed wine. And I'm sitting there watching all this unfold thinking, how the hell did we get here? Like seriously. A royal went to Africa alone, and somehow that led to Oprah mold, fake landmines, Randy's tequila coup, and a squirrel death scandal. South Park really needs to stop doing these episodes, but also please never stop, ever.